Alright, we're back with back-to-back YouTube videos. This one's going to be called Sex Game. I like hot, sexy Latina women who play soccer. Now, this is going to be a confession story because a lot of people think I don't like the sport of soccer. You'd be surprised and you'd be amazed that when I'm not watching the NBA, when I'm not watching professional basketball, when I'm not watching football, there's two other sports I watch on TV if I'm not watching basketball or football. That's hockey. Some people find that hard to believe. Yes, I like hockey. I will make a summer special video this Friday at the Grove called My Top Favorite Sports That I Watch. This is how we build a friendship here on YouTube. This is how I build fan interaction. You get to see Alexander the human being. You don't just get to see Alexander the YouTube superstar, Alexander the filmmaker, or Alexander the rock star. You get to see Alexander the human being up close and personal. You get to know me personal. So I'm not one of those snobby, high privileged YouTube superstars that don't want to interact with their fans. I like to interact with my fans. I like for people to tell me when I've done something right, when I did something wrong, so I can make the necessary corrections and just fix them. That's what I like. Now, I do like soccer. I did try to play soccer in junior high and high school. I'm not that very good in soccer. It's no big secret. It's a sport that I wish I could go back to. I am a little older. I'm in my 30s. And back then, when I was skinny, I actually had good kicking power. But I didn't know how to play soccer. Like, I really did not. I kicked the ball too fast. I kicked it too hard. I put too much power into kicking the ball. And there was this one sexy Latina girl in high school and in college who told me if you would watch soccer on television, you would see the correct way on how you play soccer. And I actually went to a professional soccer game here in Los Angeles like about 4 years ago when my first job, my very, very first job, way before I became a dishwasher working in Santa Monica or my current job, way before I became a security guard at the Grove, my very, very first job, I was a janitor at the Los Angeles Coliseum Memorial. And that very, very first game, August 26, 2017, I think that was probably a Wednesday or a Friday, I'm not too sure. And I got to see my very first professional soccer game. And this weren't just any soccer game. This was like the playoffs of soccer. You know how in the NBA we have the NBA finals. If this is the NFL, we have the Super Bowl. If it's baseball, it's the World Series. If it's hockey, we call it the Stanley World Cup. Well, if it's soccer, they call it the Soccer World Cup. I had never seen a professional soccer game that big, that huge. Like, I was shocked when we had like anywhere between 80 to like 87,000 people in attendance at the Coliseum. And I was told by my supervisor, who told me he watched soccer games all the time. And to see people wear their jerseys with pride and respect and see the fans respect one another, it blew my mind because if it was basketball or football, people would be like, if you're not a Laker fan, we gonna be fighting in the street. You ain't an Oakland Raiders fan, you a Dallas Cowboy fan, don't talk to me after work. If you baseball, same thing. Oh, I like the Giants. Well, I like the Dodgers. Oh, you see them fighting. That's why I don't go to baseball games. You're not gonna never see me at a baseball game. And it's not that I don't like baseball. It's I don't want to be in a negative atmosphere. People fighting over the teams. I can't wear the jerseys because y'all want to fight because I don't like a certain baseball team. Because I do like the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the one thing I noticed is that the Latino men and women, they love them some soccer and they love them some LA Dodger fans. Like the vast majority of people that I went to high school, college, at the gym, and at work, they are some huge baseball fans. And if you say the LA Dodgers, oh, they'll talk to you all day. You like soccer? They'll be telling you every single game ever played in soccer history. And I'm not making this up. I actually literally had a number of people tell me you need to go to just one soccer game. It will change your whole perspective on soccer. And it did, like 4 years ago. Went to one soccer game. I was blown the hell away. I had never seen 85 to 87,000 people in attendance for soccer. You had celebrities show up. You had R&B singers, rappers, people that you don't think watch soccer actually watch soccer. And I found Latino women that play soccer, I found them very physically, sexually attractive because they had strong legs, they can kick the ball, they're brave, they're fearless, and I'm not making this up. If I'm not watching basketball, if I'm not watching football, I'm either watching hockey or soccer. And I started to have a lot of appreciation and a lot of respect for soccer because I didn't know they had a big, huge following like that. I had no idea. I had no clue whatsoever. For like 10 years, I was clueless. Like, I would watch the soccer games, but I didn't see what the big deal was until someone told me you have to go to an actual soccer game to see what the big deal was. I found out what the big deal was. And I got to go to one soccer game because the rest of the season it was just college football, pro football. Then there was another soccer game, but that one I didn't attend to because they took me off the schedule and they put someone else on the schedule, and that was for the championship game. And the soccer game I went to, it was that big deal because everybody was there, everybody was watching, and I got to see how competitive the sport of soccer is. On the other hand, there's another sport that sexy Latino women do, and that's mixed martial arts. Oh, I love me some Latino women who do mixed martial arts, particularly MMA. I don't know what it is that gets me drawn to a woman that does mixed martial arts, but every time they come on, I watch. I'm serious. I would every time UFC come on, it'd be two Latino women. I'd be like, all right, it's time to ignore basketball. It's time to ignore football, and let me turn to the MMA because we got two sexy Latino women, and they look fine as hell. You know, my dad be like, well, I don't know why you watching it. I'm like, well, because they fine as hell and they can fight and they can kick ass. They they can handle themselves in the street. That impresses me and that intrigued me. So every time they do Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or niche Jiu Jitsu, my face is glued to the television set, and I watch two sexy, fine Latino women playing soccer and MMA. So we're going to rename the title of the YouTube video and call it Sex Game. I like hot, sexy Latino women who play soccer and do MMA. I find them very physically, sexually attractive. I might do another one because there are other white women do MMA too, but this video is to give Latino women their own video, okay? So soccer is because I did it in junior high and high school. I wasn't that very good at it, and when I went to my first soccer championship game as a janitor, that was to qualify. The championship game is what I should have been to. And when I saw how serious it was, it blew my mind because this 10-year-old kid came with an autographed signed soccer ball. And one of the rules that we have at the Staples Center and at the Los Angeles Coliseum is you can't bring nothing to these games. And they took his soccer ball away. And I actually felt bad for the kid because, you get your ball signed, you get it autographed signed by a professional soccer player. And then when you get told that you cannot bring your autographed ball, they made him throw it into the trash can, which I felt bad for him because an hour later we saw on camera that somebody stole the ball that had autograph sign, and he had to go buy him another one all over again. So I actually kind of felt bad for the kid that you get to come to a soccer game and you get to see your heroes playing soccer, and you get told by security that you cannot bring that stuff into the facility. Like Staples Center, you can't bring no food and water, and it's the same rule with the Coliseum. And I got to see the staff that I was working for, they got to take pictures with professional soccer players. Like if you're a manager or a supervisor, you can actually take pictures. But people like the janitors, you don't get to do that because that's like a big no-no. And then, you get that speech in the office. This is not what we do when we're at work. Your job is to clean up the environment and make it safe for the people. That was one of my jobs. And when you go into the Staples Center, that's 80,000 seats that you got to clean in under 3.5 hours. Sometimes it could be 5, 6 hours, even 7 hours that you would stay there all day until it was clean. I did that job like 2 years in a row, and I got to understand college sports more properly. That's how come when you watch me watch these videos about basketball and football, that's why I make those videos. Like football, when I watch pro football and you see me make the pro football videos, the reason why that content was so good was because of the fact I was always at the Coliseum and I was always watching college football, pro football. College football be on a Saturday, pro football on a Sunday, and every now and then they would have some soccer, and I would watch soccer on TV. Just to go into the stadium, it blew my mind to see how many people love the sport. It's just as big as basketball, football, and baseball. And it's just unfortunate no one gives it the respect and the credit that it actually rightfully deserves because it's a big sport. It has a huge following. Everyone who watched that sport, that's what they will watch. I have a next door neighbor. He has his share of sports, and it goes like this: soccer's number one. You talk about my Oakland Raiders, we got problems. He an Oakland Raider, a huge Oakland Raiders fan. Then he loves his baseball. You talk about his LA Dodgers. He told me before we got problems. And he loves his hockey. He don't really like basketball too much. Everybody has their share of sports, and this was to show some respect that yes, I do like soccer, and I do actually watch that in secrecy because a lot of people be looking at me like, "What's wrong with you, man? You supposed to watch basketball and football," and I'm like, "I'm gonna watch the sports I want to watch." When it comes to MMA, they give me a hard time when it comes to me watching sexy mamacita Latina women